diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Jordan Canady, who's a safety out of the University of North Dakota. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Can you just describe to our viewers a little bit about your overall career?
Yeah, I've been a multi-sport athlete, my whole life. I went to Newville and Eisenhower. I had some good coaches and good teammates down there. Running track, playing basketball, playing football. I was always active. I loved playing sports. That's what made me who I am. And got me all my relationships with people. I'm a very introverted kind of guy, so that kind of opened me up to meet new people, and that gave me the opportunity to play football. I started off as a sophomore, playing safety. That was a big change for me. Coming from an offensive, mindset my whole life growing up, and that's where my coaches believed I could take my game to the next level. And I got a call from our head coach Bubba Schweigert, at North Dakota. He offered me a scholarship. I didn't even know where North Dakota was on the map at the time. So, it was a great opportunity for me to go up there, and I'm grateful for the opportunity so far.
Cool. So at the very least, your geography is a little better now. So that's all good.
Yeah,
So
I know my map a little better now.
that's awesome. You came into North Dakota about 170-pound freshman. I have you listed now in my notes 6'2", 205 pounds. All that's accurate, right?
Yes, sir. I
Um,
fluctuate between 205 to 210.
all right.
Active.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on whether or not you've had like a great steak meal or something.
Yeah, it depends on what I have on late night
Sure,
snacks.
sure. Um, what would you say is the best part about your game as an athlete? What's the best thing you bring to the table?
Yeah, I think as an athlete, going to Division One, once you get up there, you think you're always the top guy, especially in high school, kind of being more athletic than everybody. And then once you get to the Division One level, you kind of realize that you need to separate yourselves in other ways, and that's sacrificing off the field, and having the ability to understand the game and using your brain. 'Cause I think that's what separates people from the others at this kind of level. So I think that's the best part of my game.
Great. So this past year, you actually had a pretty decent year as a safety, getting 87 tackles. 53 of them were solo. So I mean, obviously, you're doing that mostly by yourself.
Yeah.
Um, very good year so far, and you've actually had a good handful of starts as well. I think you ended up starting like, almost 30 straight games. I think it's like 28 or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
between 28 and 30. I haven't kept count, but it's at
but
a pretty
yeah,
far.
I mean, it's great that you have a lot of experience. Um, so what has this off season been like for you? I mean, where have you been working out, and how are you preparing to take your game to the next level?
Yeah, this off season obviously has been, very different from others. Starting back in, March, just getting back from my spring break. Obviously not being up at school and finishing that, in person. It's about staying active, physically and mentally. And I think I'm fortunate enough to have a nice little gym set up in my house, and just staying active. I have a nice little hill in my backyard. Kind of just running around. Keeping just keeping your body right. And then I think keeping your mind right too. It's a very very hard time for a lot of people, and I think trying to stay as positive as you can, and keep a positive outlook on the future is the best way to approach it.
Cool. So I mean, obviously, just trying to stay in shape, try and find ways to stay in shape.
Yeah,
Do a little bit of everything. I realized too that you have a little bit of special teams experience as well. Going out there, on punts and kickoffs. You actually have at least one block kick to your record, as far as I can recall. So obviously able to go out there and be a huge part of the team on special teams, as well as being a huge impact on defense, which is great. Um, Talk to me about the film room. Film room's a huge part of an athlete. Talk to me about maybe your experience there and maybe what you're looking at when you're studying your opponent.
Film's a huge part of the game. I think, from high school to college, it's a big difference in, how you kind of learn your opponent. And I think, for me, it's about understanding the personnel. And I think understanding who's on the field, and who's not on the field, in certain situations, that kind of gives you the freedom to make, certain calls. In our defense, they allow us, our safeties to, make calls that, we think is best for the situation. And I think is if what's going on and you can anticipate what's going on, that helps you, think less and play faster. And I think that's, how I've improved over the last couple of years. As a freshman, you kind of go in there a little scared. And then once you start, progressing and getting more experience, you just trust your speed.
Great. So, Jordan, walk me through like maybe a memorable play or moment in your career so far. Maybe something that you tell a lot of your friends, like, or if we were to like make a movie of your life, we'd have to have that put that up on the screen. Something that maybe defines you as an athlete. Just talk to me about a memorable play that you've had.
Yeah, I think, as up here in North Dakota, we've had a lot of memorable moments. I remember my redshirt freshman year, we won Big Sky, going to the playoffs last year down in Louisiana was awesome. I think, a personal memory for me, also has, been, I think my first ever series, playing safety down in UC Davis back in 2017. I remember being matched up, playing man coverage on Keelan Doss, who's now in the NFL. He had a great game that game, or back in that day. But I remember him catching a 3-yard out, and then I just remember, tackling him, fairly well. And then, it's kind of just, he gave me the, affirmation, that, I can do this. I belong here. I've worked hard, and, I deserve to be on the field with these guys.
Cool. And in my notes, Jordan, again, like you had mentioned when we first opened up, you talked a little bit about your experience playing other sports in high school. Playing basketball as well as participating in track and field. Talk to me about those experiences and maybe how they translate to the football field for you.
Yeah, basketball, being one of my favorite sports, you can do that anytime, any age, really pick up a basketball, go outside and shoot. I think, scouts look for that. And I think that's, what translates, to football because, basketball and it's hand-eye coordination, athletic ability, jumping, playing defense, there's so much that goes into it. Teamwork, understanding spacing, what's going on around you and how to, make a play. And I think, basketball is all about instincts and you got the ball in your hand, you're making a move, you don't know what's going to happen next and you just kind of got to go. I think that translates to football more than anything. And then obviously with track, it's about speed and, acceleration and, kind of just showing your burst and things like that.
Great. So, I know in my notes, I have that you have run under a 50-second 400 meter, which is great. Do you have any basketball accolades? I don't have that in my notes. I didn't know if you have.
Yeah, we were one of the best teams in the state of Wisconsin, at that time. I remember I made some all-conference teams and things like that. Nothing I know of specific, but, basketball for me was an experience, with my guys growing up. And, it's just something I'll never forget. And, it was an awesome experience for me.
Cool. Let's kind of take a break from sports for just a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about maybe what your major is there at North Dakota and, maybe some other things just about yourself, your hobbies, interests. Talk to me about Jordan Canady and who he is.
Yeah, so I think we start off with school. I'm majoring in business management and minoring in economics. And I'm practically done with that. I have one more class for my economics minor. And, now that I get the opportunity for another semester, this spring with everything that's going on with football, I have an opportunity to not waste my time. So I'm going to try and, apply for some master's classes and things like that, a master's program, to kind of further my education because, why not, if I have the opportunity to do that, you might as well keep challenging yourself to be the best version of myself. So
cool. I definitely feel like I don't know, you kind of have to see the silver lining in all of this with COVID-19 just sort of running rampant and kind of
Yeah.
forcing us to do different things. I mean, for student athletes like yourself who have scholarships, certainly taking advantage of it would be great. And so I definitely applaud you for doing that. Any other interests or anything that you feel like you need to share with the masses? Maybe that some things that people don't necessarily know about you.
I'm a very introverted guy. I'm very shy. I like doing things on my own. But I love playing video games. My nickname is Xbox for a reason. I play pretty well. I'm willing to challenge anybody at that kind of level. But I love listening to music. Doing everything a normal kid kind of does. I'm not nothing crazy. I like finding new hobbies and challenging myself. Like I said before, I'm learning about the stock market and golfing and just trying to do it different things every day to kind of get my mind you know keep my mind fresh.
Awesome. Uh, let's try and give a shout out to a few guys. Talk to me maybe a little bit about some of the coaches that have been involved in your life. Really helped mold and shape you into the person and player that you are today. Talk to me maybe about one of them, maybe one of the lessons you learned. Talk to me about some of those mentors in your life.
Yeah, coming into college, as a young guy, I was recruited by Marty Rogers, who's now at Southern Illinois. So I got a new coach right away, which was Travis Steps. He's our cornerback coach now. He coached both safeties and corners. I think he did a great job. Installing the game for me. It was difficult as a young guy, not getting as much individual attention because he had to deal with two position groups. But now I'm with Joe Swanspire, and he's been at North Dakota a very long time. And I think now, he's helped me understand the game. And I think that's the biggest part of it. And, understanding what's going on around me. And I think, when my teammate is confused, being able to kind of point him in the right direction, and become that leader and, kind of know what's going on around you all the time is, a big aspect of my game that's changed.
Cool. And talk to me maybe about, maybe one of your teammates that, somebody really needs to know. Talk to me about one of your guys there, maybe somebody that impresses you.
I've had plenty of teammates, but to keep it kind of short, I've had it was a good leader for me. Chuck Flowers, he was a good safety. He's very smart, and I think that's what I took away from his game. And then Cole Reyes, who was one of the best players in FCS, last couple of years ago, he was aggressive and played downhill. And I think that's where I get my tackling, mentality from learning how, scouts liked him and, understanding what it takes to get to that next level. And then a corner that comes out to mind is, Deion Harris. He played for the Washington team and XFL team. He's bounced around a little bit, but, he's a 6'3" lengthy corner. He's very physical. And I've learned a lot from, a lot of guys, growing up, in North Dakota.
Great. As we begin to wrap up a little bit, I ask everybody this question. Give me your why. Why do you play football? Talk to me maybe a little bit about your motivation. Give me your why.
Yeah, I know you could always say the cliche, hard worker, I like show up on time, things like that. That's kind of expected. But, I think, my why is, it's for my parents and it's for, everything I represent, as an athlete. I've been molded by so many guys and so many coaches as a young athlete. And I think, what I do and my actions represent, who I've, gone through the past from my middle school, high school, college, all my teammates and peers. It's just bigger than me. And I think that's the biggest part of it. That's my why.
Great. And if I give you about 30 seconds, go ahead and give me your final pitch to a professional team. What would they be getting if they signed or drafted Jordan Canady?
Yeah, I think you're gonna get a player that is very smart, and he's not gonna get something wrong twice. Once you tell him something, he's gonna learn. He's a very hands-on learner. He's very competitive, and he likes to compete with anybody, and is willing to push his teammates, and show them what it takes to be great.
Cool. Jordan, this has been great. I mean, I do appreciate our time together. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I do believe that you are one of the better safeties at the small school level that a lot of people really need to know. I think you're obviously a great athlete, great tackler, um, you know, good, good student of the game. also good kid. So again, I feel like there's a lot that's going for you, and people really need to know you. So again, this is Jordan Canady. He's a safety out of University of North Dakota. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on. Thanks again for your time, Jordan.
Yeah, appreciate it, Jimmy. Thank you.